Let's bring in from House Judiciary for his reaction, Congressman Darrell Issa. Congressman, it's great to see you. What do you think? It's always wonderful having you on. What do you think of what you just heard from your Democrat colleagues in the media here?
Well, Liz, fortunately, and thank you for having me on, and thanks for the framing of it with Steve Hilton. One of the things that back with Obama, President Obama, he tried to get a deal and he couldn't get a deal. And his stumbling block was he couldn't get any access for American beef, for ethanol, for a host of other agricultural products. President Trump's gotten that. So people can say, well, it's not our first, second, or third largest trading partner. It's our strongest ally. It's a country that we truly want to be joined at the hip with. And we have broken through what the rest of Europe wasn't willing to give us, and that is some real access to reciprocal agricultural. And so I figure they'll send us their scotch, we'll send them our bourbon. Oh, I'm sorry, maybe that's not quite agricultural, but the fact is, this is a day to celebrate, and the fact that it comes 80 years after we as allies ended World War II, I think says a great deal.
Bourbon is agricultural, by the way, if you ask anybody from Kentucky, right? So let's please get your reaction. We'll take you for some bourbon down there sometime. Let's get your reaction to President Trump on a deal with China, and then we want your reaction to socialist Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders is revealing the left sounds a lot more like President Trump than even President Trump does on tariffs. Watch.
We're meeting, so what are we going to do? Talk about meeting again? I think it's going to be substantive. China wants to do something. And look, they have to at this point. You know, essentially, they made $1 trillion a year, and now they have absolutely, no business because of the tariffs. They have no business. And they want to have business, and we want them to have business. We want them to do well.
You have this tariff policy from President Trump, and it's really interesting that some Democrats have now kind of abandoned the pro-progressive thing that they had before, and they're agreeing with the Wall Street Journal editorial page. Do you see that?
Yeah, this is what I think. The idea to say, oh, we believe in unfettered free trade, no tariffs, and some Democrats are saying that, I think that's nonsense. Not only did I vote against NAFTA and permanent normal trade relations with China, I helped lead the effort against those. I believe in selective tariffs to protect American workers, but the broad tariff proposals that Trump brought forth, that is not the way to proceed.
There's criticism there, but the broader point, haven't Democrats been saying for years they believe in reciprocity and fair trade? Were they just pushing against that because it's Trump?
They're just pushing against it because it's Trump. And as President Trump now goes in with strength into the negotiations with China, we have a chance for the first time in my adult lifetime to go from a trade deficit that is growing to at least one that is shrinking. And that means a great deal to American workers. And by the way, we're going to be decoupling whether we get a trade deal or not in many, many ways because of the CHIPS Act and so on.
All right, Congressman Darrell Issa, thank you so much. Appreciate it.